back. We're
We're
back.
back.
Final actual episode. Slammy's next. But after this, we're done. WrestleMania Night 2. We have a huge show ahead of us. Like, subscribe, comment, hype the video if you can. And let's jump into it because we have a big main event tonight. All right, let's go.
Okay. So we open the night with the women's championship match between Mercedes Moné, Cora Jade, and AJ Lee. The match starts with a common enemy between Cora and AJ as they both have their focus set on Mercedes. Mercedes tries to beg them off, but it has no effect as both women beat her down in the corner. Mercedes tries to escape this by leaving the ring, but that also doesn't prove to have any effect as both women just follow her out. They brawl around the announce table, which we see AJ clear off. Cora and Mercedes then brawl on top of the table for a bit before Cora is able to connect with Jaded on top of it. The announce table doesn't break for this spot, and you can see Cora slightly hold onto her back as both her and AJ get back into the ring. Both of them as they get back into the ring, both of them share a smile as they lock up. Both jockey for position until AJ gets Cora backed into the corner. AJ lets go of the hold as she somewhat taunts Cora in a playful manner. They both circle the ring around one another before locking up again. This time, Cora immediately wrings the arm of AJ and drives her towards the ropes. Cora shoots her off towards the opposite ropes and drops down as she comes back. Once she comes back again, Cora catches AJ with a very CM Punk inspired neckbreaker. Cora quickly goes for the cover but barely gets a count of two. From there, Cora controls the match as Mercedes continues to lay unconscious on the announce table. Cora works over AJ for a couple of minutes until the crowd starts to breathe some life into AJ, who starts laying in some elbow shots to the gut of Cora. AJ then hits the ropes and hits Cora with a Thez press. She then lays in a barrage of punches and eventually gets back up to her feet. As she looks down at Cora, Mercedes sneaks back into the ring and hits AJ with a backstabber and locks in the bank statement. AJ fights not to tap out of this and is eventually saved by Cora J kicking Mercedes in the gut. AJ rolls out of the ring, holding onto her back as Mercedes and Cora start to go back and forth. Mercedes ends up winning the exchange and tells Cora that she doesn't belong in the same ring as her. Mercedes is methodically beating down Cora, then decides she needs to step up the danger. She heads outside and gets under the ring and slides in a chair, then a kendo stick. She then eventually pulls out a chain and has a devilish smile across her face. She slides back into the ring and you see Cora crawling towards the kendo stick. Just as she gets there, Mercedes whips the chain across the back of Cora. Cora rolls over and Mercedes whips her in the gut. They continue this until AJ gets back into the ring and grabs the chain as Mercedes pulls back to whip it at Cora again. Mercedes and AJ share a brief stare down before AJ kicks Mercedes in the gut and they have a tug of war over the chain. They fight around the ring for it and AJ gives a huge tug and it drives Mercedes into the turnbuckle, causing her to drop the chain. As Mercedes stumbles out of the corner, AJ hits her with a backstabber and locks in a bank statement of her own. Mercedes fights her way to the ropes and causes a rope break. As AJ gets up, she has her eyes set on the chain. She slowly picks it up with her, and right before she strikes Mercedes, Cora grabs onto it. Cora tells AJ that she is better than this. Mercedes, during this, is leaned up against the turnbuckle, begging AJ not to strike her. AJ tells Cora that she needs revenge, and Cora tries to convince her not to do this. As they speak, Mercedes rushes them. Cora shoves AJ out of the way and eats a clothesline from Mercedes. Mercedes then gets up and gets Mercedes then gets up and gets struck in the gut with the chain by AJ. AJ then discards the chain off to the side and rushes at Mercedes and locks in a Black Widow. Mercedes once again fights her way towards the ropes, but is seemingly starting to fade. Just as it seems like she is going to pass out, Cora comes in and breaks up the hold. Cora then pulls AJ towards the middle of the ring and hits her with Jaded. Cora goes for the cover. 1, 2, kick out. Mercedes sees AJ kick out and has a slight look of reprieve across her face. Cora then gets up and gets Mercedes into the corner. She is beating away at Mercedes until she is in a seated position. Cora then takes a few steps back for a run-up as she charges in towards Mercedes. As she charges in, she gets kicked in the knee, which drops Cora down to a knee herself. As Cora is on a knee, AJ then rushes in behind her and connects with the Shining Wizard to the back of the head. Instead of pinning her, AJ just rolls Cora out of the ring and has another stare down with Mercedes. Both women get to their feet and start trading blows. They go back and forth until Mercedes gets AJ turned around and gets hit with another backstabber. Mercedes once again locks in the bank statement. AJ is really struggling at this point, and Mercedes is wrenching back as hard as she can. AJ can't get to the ropes, and as a last ditch effort, she just reaches back and claws the eyes of Mercedes. This causes Mercedes to release the hold and cover her face. Mercedes gets to a corner looking for some sense of stability, and as she gets there, AJ rushes in and attacks her. Mercedes once again is dropped down into a seated position. Uh, Mercedes is once again dropped down, and just like Cora, AJ steps back and rushes in. Mercedes gets a boot up into the face of AJ, stunning her back. Just as Mercedes is going to get to her feet, Cora wraps the chain around Mercedes' midsection and around the ring post and locks it together, trapping Mercedes in the corner. Cora gets back into the ring and taunts Mercedes and turns back towards AJ, where she immediately gets locked into the Black Widow. Mercedes is screaming from the corner as she sees Cora slowly start to fade. Cora tries her best to get to the ropes, but AJ is pulling with all her might, and eventually Cora can't take the pain anymore, and Cora J taps out. AJ has regained the women's championship. Mercedes is just screaming from the corner as AJ celebrates. Eventually, during the celebration, Cora gets back to her feet and she embraces AJ for winning the title. They both go to leave the ring, and just as AJ is about to step through the ropes, Cora turns her around and hits her with Jaded. Cora then just stares down at AJ laying down in the ring and leaves the ring. Mercedes, who is still trapped in the corner, looks on in shock. So AJ Lee is your new women's champion.
Okay, that was out of nowhere, but I'll continue ASAP to save myself as much time as possible. All right, the bell rings in this tag match, and everyone goes to the outside immediately to get ladders. They all bring them in and realize what's happening. There's a rush of people trying to get ladders set up first. Everyone places their ladders down and everyone climbs them. Everyone is fighting at the top, trying to end this match quickly before it turns into a car wreck. That's when everything goes wrong. Fraxium used both Fraxium both use their leg strength and push the ladder off the Undisputed Era to the side. It starts falling, causing their ladder to tip over, causing their ladder to tip over Gunther and Ludwig's, which causes Pretty Deadly's to tip over. All six men go flying off the ladders. Pretty Deadly both go flying outside and through the announce table. Let the record show we are 3 minutes into this match. Fraxium and Fraxium had their ladder farthest away, so they can't just reach the titles. They have to get off and clear the ring and set up the ladder again. As they clear the ring, they throw the other ladders out the ring, and when they throw one out, it ends up hitting Gunther and Ludwig. Nathan starts climbing to the top. Axiom is at the bottom, trying to make sure no one stops this. That's when Kyle and Bobby enter the ring from opposite sides, forcing Axiom to choose which one to go after and leaving Nathan unguarded. Axiom goes after Fish, and Kyle races to the top of the ladder and stops Nathan from pulling down the titles. Nathan is getting bitched up there. And then he finally blocks a shot. He slams Kyle's head across the ladder, and he quickly moves to the same side of the ladder as Kyle is and does an inverted Spanish fly off the ladder. They land on the outside on top of Gunther, Kaiser, and Pretty Deadly. Let me repeat this. We are 5 minutes into the match. Kyle is now getting the upper hand on Axiom. Kyle goes for a clothesline. Axiom ducks and runs to the ropes and bounces off of him. He's able to connect with a springboard reverse Frankensteiner. He gets he gets to his feet and the crowd is cheering. At this point, everyone on the outside is getting back up. He turns to them, runs the ropes again, and hits a tope con hilo. Axiom gets up quickly and starts rushing to the nearest ladder in the ring. He sets it up again. It starts climbing to the top. When he gets to the top, that's when Elton runs into the ring and pulls him off the ladder. He starts yelling at him that this is Pretty Deadly's time and not his. Axiom just slaps him across the face. Elton is about to react with a move, but that's when Axiom hits him with a golden ratio. Elton rolls out of the ring. Gunther then runs in, and he starts climbing the ladder. Axiom then races after him. Gunther's trying to chop down Axiom, but Axiom is too fast and is dodging his strikes. That's when Nathan comes back into the ring and he starts pulling on Gunther's legs. This distracts him enough for Axiom to climb the ladder and hit a sunset flip power bomb onto Gunther. Gunther Gunther is down, and this is for Axiom's chance. They once again are gonna go for it, but this time Pretty Deadly come in and knock the ladder over. Fraxium goes flying off, and they roll out of the ring. Pretty Deadly are about to start setting up the ladder when they see Redragon hop back into the ring. Pretty Deadly yell at them that they've been waiting a long time for this battle, and then they rush Redragon. They fight on opposite corners of the ring. On one side, has Kyle on the ropes, and on the other, Bobby has Kit on the ropes. Elton takes Kyle out of the ring and helps Kit. Then they hit split milk on Bobby. They throw him out the ring. This is it. No one is left standing. Kit starts to climb to the top of the ladder. When Ludwig Kaiser comes flying in off the top rope, he lands on the ladder and knocks off Kit. He reaches he reaches for the titles. Elton pulls him off the ladder. They have a little fight. Kaiser gets the better of him. He hits a square hammer. Kaiser is now alone in the ring. He calls for Gunther to get into the ring. Gunther is getting up slowly. He doesn't do these gimmick matches. He's never fallen from that high up before. Gunther is there to protect him, but a sneaky Kyle comes in from behind with a steel chair and hits Kaiser in the back of the legs as he's climbing, and Kaiser falls off. Bobby comes back in the ring. They hit Gunther with chasing the dragon, and Kyle starts climbing the ladder. He reaches up. He gets his hand on it. When Pretty Deadly come in and knock the ladder down, Kyle falls off and rolls out the ring. They then hit Bobby with split milk. Kit quickly sets up the ladder. Elton climbs it. He reaches up. He pulls the titles down. Here are your winners and the new World Tag Team Champions, Elton Prince and Kit Wilson. Pretty Deadly.
Yes,
After two
boy!
years with a near, After 2 years with a nearly perfect singles tag record, Pretty Deadly win the championship in their first ever title shot. Oh shit,
This
and
is
then I
truly
gotta
the
fucking run
good
it back.
storyline. We're in the good days now.
Oh shit. No holds barred, and by that I mean unsanctioned loser leaves Raw match. Randy is making his way to the ring when Jay comes in from behind and blasts him over the back of the head with a chair. Jay then throws Randy into the barricade. The ref is yelling at him to stop this, and he's not listening. He eventually just beats Randy down the ramp and slams his head across the apron a few times. He finally throws him into the ring. He's yelling at the ref to ring the bell. The ref doesn't want to. After a minute of arguing, he finally does. Jay turns his attention to Randy, and he gets hit with an RKO. Cover. 1, 2, kick out. Randy slowly gets to his feet. He's groggy, but he's still standing. This isn't the start he was hoping for. He's grabbing the back of his head. He tries to pick up Jay, but Jay low blows him. Jay then exits the ring and looks under it. He pulls out a Texas bull rope. He brings it into the ring, wraps it around his hand. Randy is getting up, and he throws the other end at Randy. Randy looks at him. He puts it on. They are now tied together like they were in their bull rope match last year. Randy and Jay start fighting it out. Strapped together, they fight all the way to the stands. And just like last time, Jay tries to throw Randy over the player tunnel. This time, Randy learned. He doesn't allow himself to get thrown over. He instead throws Jay over, but Jay doesn't hit the floor. The rope is too short. We instead see Jay's arm dislocate. He starts screaming in pain. Randy has a smile on his face, but he's struggling not to be dragged down with Jay. Finally, he's able to get some help. The cameraman hands him a knife and he cuts himself free from the strap. Jay lands on the floor and starts grabbing his arm. Randy starts making his way down to him. Jay is seen putting his shoulder back into place and he starts getting up. As he's getting up, Randy is about to get to him. We see Jay reach into a trash can and throw a bucket of popcorn at Randy. Randy gets blinded by the salty snack. Jay sees this and does the only thing he can. He kicks Randy in the balls. We then see him retreat to the backstage area. Randy recovers enough and follows after him, but he lost him. He can't find him. He's looking around, and in the back we can see a golf cart's headlights turn on and starts driving toward Randy. Randy sees it coming this time. He gets out of the way. The golf cart goes crashing into a wall. Jay gets out of it. Randy starts beating down on his arm. He beats down on it so much that it ends up being dislocated again. He pulls it out. He pulls it out of the socket again. That's what I'm trying to say. Jay bites Randy to. Jay then bites Randy to stop the assault. Randy lets go of him and now has a bite mark that's bleeding. Jay then pokes him in the eye and runs off. We then see Jay start coming back to the ring through the ramp, and he's halfway to the ring when the golf cart comes flying out of the entrance ramp and starts racing down with Randy in the driver's seat. Jay starts running away. He tries to get to the ring before he gets hit. Randy has his foot all the way on the gas, and Randy hits Jay. In order to make sure he doesn't get run over, Jay jumps in the air. He, however, gets hit and he goes flying through the air and he lands in the ring through the middle and top rope. Randy quickly runs into the ring. Jay starts getting to his feet. Randy sprints and connects with the punt kick. Randy isn't done. He looks at Jay and tells him, "You're lucky I'm going easy on you." He then proceeds to hit him with one more punt. Randy goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3. Here's your winner, Randy Orton.
That match, just chaos.
Yep. Absolute chaos.
Okay, we move on from that into the damage control fatal four way that's been being built for millennia, it feels like. All four women stare each other down before the bell rings, and once it does, all four rush the middle of the ring and brawl with one another. At this point, all their friendships have faded and have cost one another too much. Dakota cost Asuka a shot at the IC title. Asuka cost Io the women's IC title. Kairi cost Asuka the Royal Rumble. Io cost Dakota women's IC title match. Asuka has cost Kairi a women's IC title match. In simpler terms, SmackDown introducing the women's Intercontinental title has caused the destruction of Damage Control, and these four women are just beating the crap out of each other to start this match. We eventually see Io discard Dakota out of the ring and Asuka discard Kairi out of the ring. Both women then exchange some words in the ring before starting a back and forth exchange that sees Asuka win with a spinning back elbow. Asuka then berates Io, probably in a similar fashion to what she did earlier in their career when Asuka was mentoring Io. Asuka has Io in the corner as she just stomps away and berates her. Kairi then comes in and starts attacking Asuka from behind. Dakota at the same time grabs onto Io's hair and drags her out of the ring. In the ring, we see Kairi just laying into Asuka, as on the outside you see Dakota unleashing a relentless attack, throwing Io into everything within throwing distance. After beating down Io, Dakota slowly gets back into the ring as Kairi throws Asuka out of the ring. Kairi goes to follow Asuka out, but she gets grabbed from behind by Dakota. Dakota starts to beat down on Kairi, but Kairi starts to fight back. Kairi is laying in a series of punches and kicks, and she is about to knock Dakota off her feet when Io comes flying in with a missile dropkick, connecting with both women. Io then kip flips up and does her taunt. Kairi rolls out, and Dakota is left in the ring. Io then unleashes an assault onto Dakota and stomps away at her midsection. Dakota tries to fight away into the corner, but that isn't where she wants to be, as Io just rushes in and connects with a bullet train. She then rolls Dakota out of the corner and heads up top. She then connects with an over the moonsault. She quickly stands after connecting, and Asuka is right behind her and locks her into the Asuka lock. Dakota is laid out next to them as Io squirms, trying to fight her way out of this. Io manages to back elbow Asuka in the face, causing her to release the hold, and just as Io gets out of Asuka's grasp, Kairi comes crashing down with an insane elbow. Kairi goes for the cover. 1, 2. Io just breaks up the pin in time. Kairi quickly gets up and attacks Io, who is still trying to catch her breath, and Kairi drives Io out of the ring. She then turns around and gets kicked in the gut by Dakota, who then hits the ropes and connects with the chiropractor. Dakota goes for the cover, but Asuka saves the match just in time. Dakota and Asuka then both get to their feet and exchange blows in the middle that sees Dakota win the exchange and kicks Asuka in the gut. Dakota then hits the ropes, and as she comes back, Asuka pops up and mists Dakota in the face. Dakota, blinded by the mist, turns around, and Asuka once again locks in the Asuka lock. Dakota, just like Io, tries to fight out of it, but Dakota doesn't know where the ropes are and is just flailing. All of a sudden, as she's in this hole, Kyrie comes crashing down and connects with another insane elbow to Dakota, who is laying on top of Asuka. This breaks the hold and Kyrie goes for the cover when Io comes crashing down with an over the moonsault onto everybody. She then picks Dakota out of the pile and covers her. One, two, three. Io Sky picks up the win.
Congratulations. All right, let me get Nia versus Becky Lynch for the love of the game. Both women hate each other because they keep getting in each other's way. The match starts and Becky just rolls out of the ring immediately. She starts telling the crowd that Nia is on her time. Nia just looks annoyed. She then starts chirping to the crowd. Big time Bex is scared. Becky starts saying that she's not scared because she's the GOAT. And it's not just her saying it. Sports Illustrated says it. Suave Jam Zero says it. And she finally gets back into the ring and the fighting commences. Nia dominates for the most of the match. She's just too big and strong to be stopped. At one point, Nia goes for the Annihilator. Becky gets up and gets Nia's hair. She pulls it down, and Nia goes face first into the steel post. She then climbs to the top rope and kicks a lifeless Nia Jax off the middle rope. She lands on the mat. She starts getting back up. Becky jumps and hits a diving drop kick. Nia is loopy. She starts getting up again. Becky rushes in and hits a manhandle slam. She goes for the cover. One, two, kick out. She decides to try to go for it one more time. This time, Nia counters and starts hitting Becky with a bunch of headbutts. She runs the ropes and hits a massive clothesline that sends Becky out of the ring. Nia starts taunting the crowd. She reaches to the outside to grab Becky by the hair. She starts pulling Becky up. Becky, in a state of panic, goes for Nia's eyes. Nia lets go and gets back to the ring. She starts yelling at the ref to DQ Becky. The ref says that he didn't see anything. Nia turns around and gets hit with a series of punches, lefts and rights nonstop. Nia finally gets her hands up. Becky just switches the attacks to her kidneys. Nia finally tries to guard those, but Becky stops and puts her in position for a manhandle slam, and she hits it. Cover. 1, 2, 3. Here's your winner, Becky Lynch. Woo, Becky. And then Alexa Bliss versus Tiffany Stratton for the Women's United States Championship. The bell rings. Tiffany and Bliss look at each other, not saying a word. When they finally lock up, they chain wrestle for a bit. Tiffany ends up getting the upper hand and taking Bliss to the corner. The ref goes to pull her off, and Bliss lands a cheap shot onto her. Tiffany gets right back into her face, and the ref has to pull her to the other side of the ring. Then he lets them lock up again. They go for another lockup, but this time Bliss is just messing around and was just messing around and just sweeps Tiffany's legs out from under her. She then goes for the dis knee. Tiffany rolls out the way. She gets up and she's about to be hit with a drop kick, and she counters again. Tiffany then hits the ropes and goes for a clothesline. Bliss ducks and goes for Tiffany's legs again. Tiffany jumps over it and stomps on Bliss's leg. Bliss is hobbled. She tries to get up, but she can't. Tiffany runs at her and hits her with a drop kick. She then she throws her into the corner and lifts her up top. She climbs up there with her and starts getting her up for a suplex, but Bliss fights out of it. She throws her off the top, and then Bliss hits a twisted Bliss onto Tiffany. Cover, 1, 2, kick out. Bliss doesn't stop her assault on her there. She quickly picks up Tiffany and hits her with a Sister Abigail DDT. She goes for the cover. 1, 2, kick out. Tiffany isn't going to go down that easy. Bliss gets to her feet. Tiffany starts crawling to the corner. Uh, Bliss runs at Tiffany, about to hit a Meteora. Tiffany pulls herself out of the way. Uh, Bliss goes knees first into the turnbuckle. Bliss grabs at her legs in pain. Tiffany then hits her with a dragon screw leg takedown. Uh, Bliss falls and sits in the corner to recover. Tiffany sees her sitting there and knows what she has to do. She goes to the opposite side of the ring. She climbs to the top rope. She balances on the top rope and launches herself as she hits a coast to coast. She quickly pulls Bliss deeper into the ring. She then goes onto the turnbuckle and hits the prettiest moonsault ever. She covers Bliss. One, two, kick out. Tiffany can't believe it. She gets up and starts yelling at a down to Bliss. This shouldn't even be happening. We were supposed to rule the women's division together, and you just threw it all away. Bliss starts telling her, "You're right. I'm sorry, Tiffany. I really am. Let's just talk this out. We don't have to fight anymore." Bliss gets to her feet and extends her arms for a hug. The crowd is chanting no. Tiffany starts fighting with herself, not knowing if she should trust Bliss. Then she finally says, "Do you promise me it'll be different this time around?" "Yes, I promise. I've matured since then." Tiffany goes in for the hug. We get a zoom in on Alexa Bliss's face. She's got an evil smile on her face, like she's about to strike. They then let go of the hug, and then Tiffany says, You know what the best thing you ever taught me was? I don't know what. How to be a good actor." As she finishes that sentence, Tiffany pulls in Bliss and hits her with a Sister Abigail DDT. Tiffany does pull in Bliss for a Sister Abigail DDT. I'm just making that clear. Tiffany then climbs to the top and hits the world's prettiest moonsault. Cover. One, two, three. Here's your winner and the new Women's United States Champion, Tiffany Stratton. All right.
Alrighty. From there, we move into our other Fatal 4-Way tag match of the night, this time for the SmackDown Tag Team titles between the New Day, Street Profits, Lucha Bros, and Guerrillas of Destiny. This match is an elimination contest. This match is an absolute sprint from the moment the bell rings. New Day and Lucha Bros immediately take their fights to the outside as Street Profits go back and forth. As Street Profits go back and forth with Guerrillas of Destiny in the ring. After some back and forth, we see Tama Tonga go for his running back elbow when he gets pounced out of the air by Angelo Dawkins. Tonga Loa then takes himself and Angelo out of the ring. Montez capitalizes on this and hits Tama with a frog splash off the top rope and covers him for the three, eliminating the Guerrillas of Destiny from the match. Both Lucha Bros and New Day get back into the ring. All three teams stare down. They all begin brawling again, and all eventually end up on the outside by the corner of the barricade. As all teams brawl, Montez gets back into the ring, hits one turnbuckle, dives over the other turnbuckle, and takes out everybody. Montez Montez tries to waste no time and gets Dawkins back up, and they get Xavier Woods back into the ring. Montez throws Woods against the ropes, and Dawkins pounces him as Montez heads up top and hits Woods with a frog splash. Montez then covers Woods for the three, eliminating the New Day. Street Profits stand tall in the ring as Lucha Bros re-enter the ring. Both teams engage in some trash talk before they go back and forth in this beautiful exchange of moves and reversals. We eventually see the Lucha Bros end up winning the exchange by throwing Dawkins out of the ring. Montez tries to fight back, but ends up getting caught with a double super kick. Penta then kicks Montez in the gut as Ray Phoenix heads up top. Penta does a Seto Miedo hand gesture and gets Montez into the package piledriver position. Before he drops down, Ray Phoenix jumps off the top rope and double stomps down on Montez as Penta drops down, connecting with the package piledriver. Ray then quickly gets up and suicide dives out onto Dawkins as Penta covers Montez for the three, eliminating the Street Profits and crowning your new tag team champions, the Lucha Brothers.
Holy shit, Siri got it right. All
Dude, we
right.
did get it right.
Well, buckle in, ladies and gentlemen. This is a long one. We get a grand Finn Balor demon entrance. He's now in the ring and waiting. Adam Cole comes out, and the whole time he's just staring at Finn. He has nothing on his mind. He gets into the ring, does his pose, and hands the referee the championship. The referee lifts it in the air and calls for the bell. And the main event of WrestleMania 42 is underway. They just stare at each other. Finn is in the corner, crouching there with both hands grabbing the top ropes. Cole is just fixing up his wrist tape, not taking his eyes off of him. Cole finally starts moving toward him, and Finn just springs to his feet and into action. This gives Cole a bit of a jump scare, but he continues to walk to Finn anyway. Once he gets to Finn, he tries to chain wrestle him, but Finn is able to counter every chain wrestling move in the book. Finn ends up throwing Cole off of him. Cole is just on one knee looking at Finn as he continues to just stare at him. Cole is about to get to his feet when he changes his mind and decides to just roll out of the ring. He starts looking around at the crowd and back at Finn, who is just there staring at him. He slaps himself a few times and gets back into the ring. This time, Finn rushes him and hits him with a sling blade. Cole gets up quickly. Finn hits another sling blade. Cole gets up and gets hit with a shotgun dropkick into the corner. Finn starts climbing the top rope. He goes for a coup de grace, but Cole gets out the way, and he rolls out the ring again. He looks worried. We hear someone in the crowd yell to Cole, "Cole, stop being a pussy." Cole then yells back at them, tell him to stop being such a freak." Cole is about to get into the ring when he just backs up and says, "You know what? I don't need this. Fuck this." Then he starts walking to get his title. He grabs it. Then he starts walking to the ramp. Finn sees this happening, and he leaves the ring. He meets him at the ramp. Cole starts yelling at him to get out of the way. Finn doesn't make one peep. Cole says, "Forget this." Then he charges Finn with the title. Finn ducks. Cole turns back to look at him, and Finn hits him with a Pele kick. Finn then picks him up. He goes to throw him back into the ring, but Cole reverses and throws Finn into the apron and then into the steel stairs. Then he grabs Finn and bounces his head off the steel steps a few times before throwing him headfirst into the steel ring post. Just really trying to make sure that Finn is concussed. Cole finally throws Finn into the ring. Finn starts getting up, and Cole hits him with a Canadian Destroyer cover. 1, 2, kick out. Cole looks pissed that it wasn't enough, so he just decides to go on the attack again. He leaves the ring. He leaves the ring and gets a table. He sets it up the long ways in the corner. Then turns to Finn. Finn had enough time to recover and tries to shotgun dropkick Cole through it, but Cole just sidesteps it and catches Finn with a super kick midair. Cole then goes to Finn and drags him to the table and makes him stand next to it. Cole then rushes Finn. Finn was waiting the whole time and drop kicks Cole's legs. He gets Cole up and hits him with a 1916 cover. 1, 2, kick out. Finn gets up and goes right back to work. He doesn't take his foot off the gas. He just starts unleashing a flurry of strikes onto Cole. He starts setting up for another shotgun dropkick in the corner, but from behind comes Roderick Strong. He hits Finn with a backstabber. Then he starts unleashing punches onto Finn. Roddy starts yelling at Cole to come in and join him. Cole goes in and to join his brother in the beatdown. They get Finn up. Roddy holds him up, and Cole goes for a super kick, but Finn ducks and Cole hits Roddy instead. Roddy falls out of the ring as Cole turns his attention to Balor, who was ready for him. He hits him with a spinning back heel kick. Then he turns then he turn then he starts getting him up for another 1916. Cole fights his way out of it and rolls him up. Cover 1, 2, kick out. Finn starts to get up, but Cole hits a super kick right on the button. Finn doesn't fall, but he's dazed. Cole then runs the ropes and hits him with a Shining Wizard. Cover 1, 2, kick out. Cole just slams the mat in frustration and yells at Roddy to get back up. Roddy does, and then he tells Roddy to hit an end of heartache on him. Roddy complies. Then Cole goes for the cover. 1, 2. It gets broken up by Shinsuke Nakamura. Roddy starts fighting with Shin. They brawl on the outside. Roddy is throwing Shin into the barricade. He goes to do it one more time, but Shin uses his long legs to block it. He hits Roddy and starts bouncing his head off the barricade. He's about to smack Roddy off the steel post when Redragon emerges from the crowd and start beating down on Shinsuke. Back in the ring now, Cole is watching this all go down. Finn is getting up. Cole is telling the rest of the Undisputed Era that he needs them. Finn is fully up on his feet. He watches as the ring fills with the Undisputed Era. He looks around at all of them. Uh, he looks to the outside and sees Shinsuke on the floor. And for the first time in this match, he shows emotion. rage. Then they all rush him. Finn does the best he can. He hits a sling blade on Kyle. He gets up and throws Roddy into the table and through it, followed by a clothesline to Bobby. But he turns around and gets super kicked by Cole. Cole tells Redragon to hit their finisher on him. They do. The crowd is chanting bullshit as Cole goes for the cover. One, two, kick out! The crowd erupts. Cole starts freaking out, slapping the mat, yelling at Finn, "Why don't you just stay down? Just stay down!" Roddy has to come to his side and tell him to focus on the task at hand. It's not going to get easier because you complain about it. Cole starts recomposing himself, and as he gets up, Kyle and Bobby are pulled out of the ring. Shin pulls one out, and right next to him is JD. He's back. They start beating them down with chairs. Cole tells Roddy to help him. Roddy climbs to the top rope and jumps out onto Shin and JD. Cole refocuses on Finn. He goes for a shining wizard. Finn ducks and gets up. He sees Bobby, Roddy, and Kyle on the outside. He runs the ropes and jumps over them to hit a tope con hilo onto them. Then he runs back into the ring where Adam Cole hits a massive elbow to the back of his head, and he starts unloading blows to the unloading with strikes. Then he goes to the outside and looks under the ring. He pulls out a kendo stick. Then we see him smile. He then brings out handcuffs. He throws them in the ring. He then starts waiting for Finn to get up, and he starts hammering him with kendo stick shots. At this point, Finn's paint is starting to rub off a lot. You can see the damage that has been done to him. Cole yells at the Undisputed Era to come back into the ring. Roddy hits Finn with another End of Heartache. Redragon hit him with catching the dragon. And finally, Cole hits him with a Canadian Destroyer. Cole yells at them, "Handcuff him to the ropes!" Kyle and Bobby do as they're told. They then bring JD and Shin into the ring. Cole is trying to wait until Finn is conscious again. He tries slapping Finn to wake him up, but he doesn't. He goes to the outside and gets a bottle of Prime and just pours it on Finn's face. Finn shakes, and he's awake. That's when Cole tells him, "Finally, look, I told you a few weeks back to quit. You didn't. Now you're bringing this upon yourself." Cole gets out of the way, and Finn has a clear vision of Shin and JD on the floor, both with chairs pointed to their heads. And Cole continues, "Now I'm no doctor, but I know if you're hit in the head enough times, something bad is going to happen to you. And I warned you. I just want you to know that this is going to be really fun for me. Hit it!" And with that, Kyle slams a chair to the back of Shin's head. Finn is panicking, trying to get out of the handcuffs. Again! And on command, Kyle hits JD in the back of the head. Finn is desperate. He runs, kicking and screaming. Again! 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 Finn can only sit and watch as his friends have their skulls smashed against steel until Cole stops them and tells them, "All right, let's finish them off." He goes to the outside and gets two more chairs from under the ring. He places Shin and JD's head under them, or on top of them, I should say. Uh, Kyle gets his chair and is waiting for the command to swing to hit a concerto. Finn's heart is racing. He's pulling as hard as he can against the handcuffs. They dig into his skin, and we see blood start dripping from his wrists. If the demon has ever given him any power, he needs it right now. Cole finally says, "All right, finish it." As soon as he said that, Finn actually breaks his handcuffs. Cole's eyes widen. Finn rushes in and hits a sling blade onto Cole. He rushes Bobby. Bobby hits him with a strike. Finn senses something behind him, so he ducks. Kyle comes in swinging with a chair and accidentally hits Bobby head first with it. Kyle is shocked. Finn takes the chair out of his hand and quickly jabs it across Kyle's throat. Roddy rushes him now, and Finn just launches the chair at him head first. Cole watches as they all roll out of the ring. Finn slowly turns around to face Cole. Cole yells at him, saying, "I'm gonna kill you!" "Not if I kill you first," Finn finally says. Cole rushes Finn. Finn ducks. Cole turns around. He gets hit with a sling blade. Cole gets up. He's groggy. Finn hits him with a shotgun dropkick into the corner. Cole bounces off and onto the mat. Finn climbs to the top. Roddy runs in to try to stop him, but Shin hits him and sends him flying off the apron. Finn launches himself and he hits a coup de grace. Cover. One, two, three. Here is your winner and the new WWE champion, Finn Balor. Finn doesn't even celebrate. The first thing he does is go to check on both Shin and JD. They both tell them that they're good and they're fine. Go celebrate. That's when the ref comes in to hand Finn the title. He grabs the title and he falls to his knees. He did it. He actually finally did it. He has tears in his eyes. The crowd is on their feet, giving him a standing ovation. He then goes to stand on the middle rope, holding the title high in the sky, pyro going off behind him as we end the show and the series.
Oh, Jesus. Well, then.
It all led to this.
It all led to this.